lovely right angle, which is usually here. We can use Mike, I guess. Mike has been very nice to our bodies and not done any strange fabric postures to us, but we could find someone who does strange fabric postures. Can you do the craziest one? Okay. What happens if I stay in right angle? Does he care? No, he does not care. We have to rest a bit for now. We have to go back to what does the right angle seek to accomplish? It seeks to cover the closest line to the target. This means usually it's shoulder to shoulder. This is my closest target. He's a bit taller, so maybe I'd be a bit underneath. And it's also his closest target. The face is slightly farther back than the shoulder. And since we are in a straight posture and not like this, the foot is not the closest target, which could be. So if he goes to the crazy fabric stance, what is the closest target? Something here? No, there's nothing here, but maybe here is a better. So the first thing to talk about is this, is we adapt the right angle to what we need. And we can also go for something like this. If he's underneath, I may want to have my shoulder a bit forward compared to the lower parts. And now I am actually threatening. Yes? This is, we're not going to practice a lot because it's basically aim at it and think about what you're doing. Don't just. No, you have to aim at the target, you have to cover your target. If you're not doing these two things, even if you are in the perfect picture of a right angle, you're not doing the right angle. Did you like it?
Yeah, the right angle is not a right angle.
Yes, it's an acute angle sometimes. Or if he's very tall, it could be obtuse. Anyway, not much to practice there, simply keep it in mind. If you find someone who does strange fabric postures, because I think having half the people doing strange fabric postures, which they are not used to, is a bad idea. I want to see it. I'm not sure. I don't want the ambulance. And, alright. So, when Mike goes into his strange postures underneath, or above, or anywhere else, we cannot bind on his sword. So we cannot put atajo on his sword. But rather gives us an option. It's called atajo virtual. It means it's fake. We imagine that we can do this. This prevents the most direct line of attack, but obviously it doesn't prevent all lines of attack. He can go around and do something else. But it gives us a tool to try to approach him. Like we can go here, he doesn't move, okay, now we can try to move and exit as usual. Or we go here and he does something. Maybe he, now we work, but we seek either to gain the advantage by moving around and being able to attack directly, or we cause him to change his posture, bring the sword in line, and now we can work with actual real atajo on a real blade and not cutting imaginary lines. Yes? Does it make sense?
Yes.
Yes? So what we'll do is, it's going to be a lot of sparring for my class, and someone will play Italian, someone will play Spanish for like I don't know, 1 or 2 minutes each. Try to use these postures or whatever you can think of, and the Spanish should try to cover the posture as best as he can, like here, and really try to attack. Make sense?
You need one question. So when you're approaching in atajo virtuales,
yes,
there comes a point where if you're standing in like absence of leg,
yes,
and I am approaching in atajo virtuales, it seems to come to a point where if I abandon this posture, I abandon my safety to attack.
like, so here comes.
How do I handle the very last bit?
There are two options here. If you have similar reach or greater, you can thrust in right angle, and you use your maximum reach and then get away. If not, you can try to use the heel to cover you a bit. So like this, I can go something like this. We keep the heel trying to cover the lower part and go with the pointing, but it is a risk. You can also decide to, like, I come here, he hasn't moved. I come in, oh now he moved, I can do something, but it's more risky than a real atajo.
Yeah.
If you can use the real atajo, use it. You use this when you have to.
Yeah.
Oh, another point. In these lower postures, you could argue that this could be the closest target. It's an option. But for practice of the spiritual atajo, we come here, we approach, first connect it. And try different postures, try what Mike has taught you before, try the Fabrice Prima, or is this also Prima? Is one, or whatever, or go to Pontage, whatever you can think of. Whatever you can think of has happened in some tournament somewhere. Yes? Anything else? Positions and each has a slightly different ideal place to put your problem.
Do you have any thoughts about, like Mike also talked about this, that, like from the position of the one in the weird guard, it seems like they have the entire choice of how to engage.
Yes.
Ends up in their hands. Can we use the virtual attacker concept to somehow take back the option to decide where the fight is going? Because it feels like the most dangerous thing is when when the entire decision-making process ends up in the opponent's hands.
So you cannot remove all their opinions from how the fight should go, but
yeah.
You can force them to cut you short, maybe some way, or to take a longer path.
Yeah.
That's what we can do. We cannot force them to extend and have something to work with. So the most we can do is cover the red line, and they will have to do something. If they move around, it's quicker, and we will proceed as we need to. But it seeks to take them out of this place. Even if we do not get the wound, we want them to move away from that because we cannot approach them safely in this position.
Yeah.
The older version is, they refuse the blade. Okay. This is the Pacheco style version. But if the blade is not in presence, you walk forward with your right angle and this has longer blade. So the problem is, like when I fought Mike yesterday, he's taller than me and has a longer rigor than me. If I do this, he can hit me and I cannot hit him. So attack of ritual is really important and people who are taller than you. It's still very hard. It helps the problem, but the problem is still there. And it's true that taller people get to choose when and where to engage. Because you have to cross that zone or they can hit you if you cannot hit them.
My perception is if you can close in with that attack of ritual, then you're actually closing them down. Like when you were fighting me, there was a point you were just spiraling in and I just was like, I'm getting out.
Yeah, that's something you can do that they may not like you doing this and you may force them to move to somewhere like here there's not much to do. You can bring them to the corner and then they can retreat, but they can still try to engage you and fight you. But this is like a little help with this problem. It's not the absolute solution because the absolute solution is to pull your pistol and shoot them from far away. The sword is there. We cannot go chase it down here. This is like the worst thing we could do probably. Or you can also do what we are going to do now, which is we wait for them. And since we do Destreza and we value life over everything, if they do not want to come, that's okay with us. We go home and have a drink, and that's all the problem is solved. So, how do we wait? we have to know which target we are offering the opponent. We have a fancy name for this. It's knowing the thing by the cause. You may like it or not. Anyway, if we are in right angle, which targets am I offering? Come on, some opinions. In specific parts? Which targets am I not offering?
The shoulder?
I think
I like that answer.
I think you're covering quite well here. I need to go through your cup if I want to go directly at you. So I could
For a moment.
go here.
Yes, good. So I am offering this target, for example. You have a point there, yes, but you can get around that point. But you can pretty much attack anywhere, except the shoulder, which is behind my cup.
Yeah.
And also you can attack from either side to either side. So there's a lot of choice here. We don't want the opponent to have that much choice if we're going to wait for him. So what is actually Pacheco? I'm going to meet him. What we do is, we do sport fencing actually. We open up a bit, bring the sword to the side, and now everything that comes will come from the inside. Okay? Okay, one thing less that we need to think about. All our covers will be here. Now, this will depend on the posture or what you like, but you can stay in right angle, you can go a bit obtuse, so basically you put a tajo on anything that comes. Beware of long reach and hits through the legs, but this tends to cover the legs pretty well. Yeah, as we say, the foot is not the target. Why? Because it's very far. If the foot was here, for example, it would be a target. But here is a pretty bad target. Yes? So, what we're going to do, again, we'll play Spanish against Italian. And the Spanish will wait. And you can use hanging positions to get a good cover of the lower targets. And more or less covering the face with the hilt. Or you can try to put a tajo on anything that comes. This means the Italian is going to lunge at us, or something similar to a lunge, which is quick and which is dangerous, and this position has to be fast enough to stop it. Okay? So, well, let's play with this a bit, but with a follow-up. We'll do the fancy follow-up. It is, if you thrust at me, this is the fancy follow-up, okay? And if you have the balls or other body parts for it, you can do it directly with a step forward. If you can do this, he cannot run away and try again. Yes? You don't need to do exactly this. If you can do this, nice. If you can hit him in another way, also nice. But this would be the ideal solution to the lunge. Don't let him retreat back. Take his weapon. Actually, he can retreat without his weapon if you want. That's okay. Yes? So again, we pair up. I'll put the timer on a bit more than 1 minute now, because that was a bit short. Oh, any questions? It's some footwork, which is I wait, but I don't wait by staying still in place. It can be quite an improvement. And the idea here, which we probably will not practice, but you come and go and come and go, and maybe even throw an attack sometimes that shows your range, or the range you want your opponent to think is your range. So you want to make him think, oh, this is the time to attack because that's his range, that's good for me and bad for him, but you're actually slightly too far. And then you get time to do whatever you need to do, and you're too far, so you will not get hit. This is a game in training your opponent to think that the distance is right when it isn't. Okay?
How do you How do you make it look like you measure when you're out of measure?
Because one thing is your reach, and the other thing is, oh, this guy is only attacking like this. But maybe I should attack like this.
Right.
You know, like
You're not extending as far as you can.
yeah. It's also kind of like in and out, now it's moving out, or out, in, out.
What's the key on your sword and not on the speech?
Yeah, then there's doing these things. Don't look at the sword, look at the body. It's my advice. Sometimes it works.
What if you?
It's mostly about making everyone think he has his measure, not yours. Yeah.
So what do you do against the people, the Pascal thing, when you do like when you start doing?
I haven't fought Pascal, so I can say I have much experience about him. But you mean like going really low?
Yeah, yeah, and do all those leanings and things, especially like this position.
So what's the thing with this position? This can go forward really fucking fast. We have the attack virtual, we can wait out of distance until he moves if you want. But if you want to approach, I think in this case you can circle out of distance because this is not a very good position to turn around. So this is a case where you may want to actually try to take a step to the side and then try to go in. Maybe, I haven't fought him, as I said, so. Yes, more thoughts? Something?
I'll just add to that. Any linear position is good to circle because it's strong in that line.
Alright, so what did I have next? Oh yes. Now we're going to do the things that are totally Destreza, even if they look Italian, but they're in a Destreza book for some reason. But it's also a measure cheat, I guess. So Rada says that if you cannot do the whole thing with coming here and then taking 3 steps for each one of the opponents, you can do something that's less safe but more direct, which is we bring the feet together and it is totally not a lunge, guys. Okay? So we'll practice this a bit. We can go for one of those here.
So am I going to be Italian here?
No, you whatever. So come close and since the step is diagonal, they say it has a value of 2 steps because it's to the side and forward. We can do it on the other side. It's dangerous when you're trying not to hit the face. You can do it more.
I can throw an out.
Yeah, anyway.
Okay. I can throw an out.
Anyway, thrust. And we have only 2 attacks in, well, 4. We have here, we have here. We also begin with the tackle. Bring the foot together. This is the easy one. And this is also the only one that he explains properly in the book. Like, okay, figure out the rest. So again, stick together. And we could, if his hilt is high, we could try to go for 2 at once. Again, the same idea, we bind, and we will turn around, and hit. So in this, we're going very direct, so using the quillons well will be very important. If someone has no quillon, well, you can try to turn around the sword and see if it works. It may get stuck in something, I don't know. Try it.
Yeah, my body.
Yes? So again, feet together and then we take the lunge. Since we bring the feet together, we've gained about 1 foot of measure. And that's 1 less foot that we need to travel forward to hit. Yes? Questions?
Yes.
Of course.
So Rada, does he explain in what circumstances you should use this footwork instead of the other?
He kind of goes, this is less safe, but you can do this. one has to wonder, maybe if there is no space to do the normal footwork, or maybe you are in a hurry and cannot afford to waste so much time walking around because you're in a battle or something, I don't know. He's maybe a Bulgar trying to pretend to be Destro and trying to sneak in some impure knowledge into us, I don't know. But again, this can cheat some distance, especially if you can do it sneakily. And if Mr. Italian is waiting for us and doesn't notice, then maybe we can do something rather Italian to him before
Unexpected.
Yes?
Entirely but here, the normal action is taking the angle and then going.
It seems like I could.
But here, I am.
Let's stick to Matthias' point first.
Here I am locking myself up to this angle, to this plane, and then when I step, you can super simply block this. And also, the same thing happens if I try to power through with the direct cut. Like if I take a tap of here, and then try to go directly in with just the step. It's, yeah.
Okay, so things, important things.
Oh yeah.
You have to use normal attack when you have to be above. Like, if you are to the side and not above, that's immediate. So if you are above, you can do the lunge. He can cover like this, okay, but that's pretty like now. And yes, it can happen in the normal attack. If I come here and I go to do the corpus, he's going to cover here. But that's okay with me. Maybe I come in with a cat. So also, when you do this, and if you do it properly, and you go down and you see that he's going to cover, if you are going to cover, I can decide to swap elsewhere.
Yeah. But the normal one first. But
Again, he says it's not a safe, but for our purpose, this is a way to gain a bit more distance. So we come here, and you don't have to take a big step to the side. This is maybe if you are in a narrow street, he doesn't say that's the purpose, but he does mention not having space, I think. I like the other way more. That's his main way. There's a reason for that, I think.
yeah, definitely.
Alright, we're going to cheat a bit more unless there's a question or something to say about this. But totally Spanish, because it's the beautiful Spanish guard, which is not a guard, it's a stance, actually. So what he does against Italians is pretty much decide to be Italian and go like this. One kind of Italian, not your kind of Italian maybe. Things of note, the front leg is straight, or almost straight. He does say that if you cannot move properly, you can bend it a little, but it's not this, and the weight is back. And our stance is pretty much the same. Now, what can we do from this? We can only lunge, really. We cannot do Spanish footwork from this stance. Well, at least not without stopping being in these steps, which we'll get in a moment. So, just quickly, 2 minutes, let's try, or not 2 minutes, five times each. We come here, take a tackle, take a thrust, nothing more. There are a few techniques he mentions, or not even techniques, but they're not very important against Italians, but let me, if you have a diestro who's you're not the diestro, then you can stick around like this and confuse him and throw a free thrust. It's not very relevant for this class, but it's there. I don't know why it's there, this is even unsafer than the one before, see?
Combine it with being passive.
I need someone short and with a mask. But I'll show it anyway. Again, I just mentioned it since we're going to do the Bella Española. If he's in right angle or so, and I can confuse him a bit, and when I decide to go in, I go in like this. Okay? So, if ever we have an Italian threatening us with the point, we can do this, but again, it's not the common problem. If the point is forward, we can use a tajo and we can act normally. We don't need to do this strange stuff. But, so again, here, and usually you expect people to go, try to parry, to move a bit, and then they give you the time to land this. And the important bit is again, pilon, plate, nice sandwich, and you stop. But what I want to use this for is, if an Italian is trying to keep distance from us, and we're trying to go like, now we can be Italian, okay? So I approach, and you don't want me to approach and do all my stuff, right? So what you do, you retreat, and you retreat again, and again and again and again. I cannot work like this. What can I do? I can cheat slightly. I can use this, but as a tool to approach faster. So what we'll do is we'll approach in the beautiful Spanish and use it to bounce into the normal atajo and thrust, or atajo conclusión, or whatever else we have to do. Yes? Is it somewhat clear? Shall we try it? Or any questions? Or you be the Bulgar fencer. Yep. I don't know which foot should be forward, doesn't matter. What Pacheco does is and if he chooses to do nothing, he just dies. If he does, his situation is a bit different, but he goes to the side and you go to parry this, and you go under. And this is the flow from Pacheco. The full sequence is you're really for now, okay? Yep. Let's see if we figure everything out. So the stance is this, and this is the protect like this. Why do you cut when my short is up?
Didn't you say so?
Nah.
Okay. Sorry.
Full sequence.
Yeah.
Okay? If I'm the Bulgar, I'm ready. You move to the side and thrust under. I bring it down, and it's the other cut. And again, you can go under and lift with a thrust, and this is the last one. And he doesn't go for the disarm here for some reason.
But does not Pacheco's in that sequence do the, after the first thrust, he does a parry over here, a cut over here?
I do the defense like this.
Yeah.
Okay. So be the Bulgar guy. Here. And from here we move to this thrust. And if you put it down, just down. So he goes for the full reverse. And if you go to parry this, but I think Pacheco usually thinks people parry very badly, but he says to go with the thrust. This is a sequence from Pacheco against the Bulgar people who do this, which is actually hurting my arm, so I'm not going to be Bulgar anymore. So what I thought we could try, since it came up with your class, and I think it's interesting, and we have, well, not very long.
We have 10 minutes or so.
We have 10 minutes, we could try to work against Prima. So, do you want to do Prima?
Sure, let me do
since
Prima.
you're the official Italian?
Sì, grazie. Pomodoro.
Just for show, we have Prima here. This is the problem. What we try to do, generally stuff like this, is perhaps the Robert step. And what can he do? He can use the hand. We can try perhaps doing like 3 minutes without the hand to see what the blade just alone can do, and then use both. If you, yeah, sure. Like Like, you can chime in this, it's pretty much your thing.
Cool, yeah.
Right? So we pair up. One is Italian, we try to bind and work this and find a safe solution to this problem. And at first, we ignore the left hand. Like, we get used to what the short can do from this position. And after, we add the hand. Yes?